I didn't get a chance to touch on this topic the other day, and so now I will have a chance to do so. I got about a few more minutes before my official big break starts, by the way. So, you know, once that happens, anyway, man. So let me just touch on what Dewey said to me, and he sent me two long text messages on the Everyone group chat, then the Ballers Everyone group chat from just last Thursday. Now I know I'm not in my dump right now. Obviously, I know I'm enjoying the weekend as much as I could. I know I got to go back tomorrow. Usually, when the topics that I cover in regards to my friendship issues. The nut ballers, where I stand with my life, where I stand with my social life and all that. A lot of times I'm in my dub to cover a lot of these topics, but for this sake, I'm going to cover exactly what Dewey said. I'm just going to read it off. I won't show it on the screen, but I'm going to read off exactly what he said, and I'll give my thoughts on it. So as I look back, here's the first one that he said. He goes, if you lose some of your friends and no longer friends with them, then the only person you can blame is yourself, buddy. No one else. Nobody else. You have to understand why they chose not to be your friends anymore. They got tired and had enough and no more because you keep repeating the same mistakes over and over again by hurting them profoundly, badly, of falsely accusing them of being a lousy, bad friend. You accuse them of that without solid, concrete, hard proof to back up your claim of what you say. You didn't mean it. You say it in the heat of the moment out of frustration, anger, and blowing off steam by taking it at someone. I understand, but took it out at the wrong people, your true friends, instead at those who really deserve it. Here's the other sentence. Or here's the other text, it's just much longer. See why they chose to end their friendships with you and cut ties. Hurt them badly, so I understand why they chose not to forgive you. Falsely accuse them of stuff not true without solid evidence to back up what you say. You say it in the heat of the moment out of frustration, anger, hurt, etc. at the wrong people who are your true friends instead of the people who did this to you and make you feel like this. Some forgive you. You didn't mean it. That wasn't you talking. You needed to blow off steam and use us as means to release feelings, thoughts, and emotions. Others can't forgive you. The ones that don't forgive you, you hurt very badly. No, the ones that don't forgive you are hurt very badly by falsely accusing them of not being a good friend without solid evidence. You got angry because you doubt and question their friendship, combined with everything no more, had enough, can't take it anymore, got tired and sick of going through the same thing, repeating itself. Decide to end it for good and stop the cycle of hate, violence, false accusations through words. Sick and tired of it. Had enough and want to end it. See why they did what they did. Not agreeing with them or saying what they did was right or wrong, but can see and understand why they did it. You can't hold it against them. They did it because of your hurtful, mean, false words. Don't blame them. Forgive. They was once your friends. Yo, he couldn't have said it any better than those two right there. I think everything that he said, word by word, even if not written in the, like a normal written, like sentence or text, he said it at best. Everything that he said in there was basically what confirmed my history or in this case, my ongoing history of losing, having lost a ton of ex-close friends. And look, I know someone else that I know who was a friend of mine had basically confirmed that for me, even with one sentence. Here, it's way more, and it's everything that I needed to know. Thanks to Dewey, who let me know straight from the heart. Straight from his heart. Being a true friend that he's always been. I know we just talked last Friday. He wanted to still see me. He sounded really happy to see me for this coming Friday, to celebrate his birthday early. But in regards to those two texts that he said, there's no doubt in my mind that he's damn right correct. And it just spoke exactly what I needed to know. And that's just pretty much that. It just further proved how much of a failure of a friend that I've been, these past few years. When a lot of these guys, like if you can see my ex-close friend memorial wall right here, you just see it right there. A lot of the friends that I lost, yeah, I know Lovely Mel used to be in there. Now she wants the chance to reconnect with me. I don't know about some of these other guys. And look, of course, I have to blame myself. Of course, it's my actions, my direct actions. And, and he just basically said it right there for me. I took it out at the wrong people. Yes, I took it out at the friends that, that had always been caring to me. Guys like, guys like Russ, Ravi, guys like Part Jory, Kriza, Christine, Lovely Mel, Anastasia, Julio, Angelique, Rhea, Jessica, so many of them, Tristan, Andrew, Juan, the one that I know from high school, Arnaldo, you name them. It's a whole bunch. You can see right here. It's, it just sucks that, for as long as I'm still in this dump, that, I've been having to deal with a lot of these issues, these mainly friendship issues, and I've been making a ton of videos about my failure as a friend. I've come to admit it in the month of April while I was out of my friend circle. I just, like I said, I had reconnected with all these guys too soon. Even the nut ballers. Look, I reconnected with them too soon. Yes, I'm still going through mental health, but at that same time, I should have just stayed out longer. Even to this day, you know what I'm saying? And I'll tell you, once I want to keep admitting myself wrong for my direct actions, but at the end of the day, for me to still be in that dump, and especially with what transpired the last couple of weeks, I'm still gonna feel miserable and unhappy as hell for as long as I'm still there. Unfortunately, I'm closer to my 13th year, which is this coming September, early September 4th, and I know if my raise is coming, it's no surprise it'll be a small amount. I'll at least be $18 an hour. And it should have been a long time ago. Hell, even this last raise, it should have been at least 18. But, at this point, it's like everyone, and I'm talking, especially the nut ballers, all the nut ballers are paid higher than me, which is really sad. And my job is a career job. It's just, I don't know how much more is need to be, said, other than what I've said, like these past few months, few weeks, and basically what Dewey said here is just, just the icing on the cake of what I needed to know as a friend in general, of how much I have damaged my entire friend circle. Fortunately, I'll still have friends like him and a boss, Russ, And I even had a video about the guys who for sure will stay, and these guys I named are some of them. You know, so they like. I mean, I just feel bad for them to still see me at my worst like this. And look, I miss a lot of these friends that I lost, like Angelique, like Part Jory, like Rhea, Kriza, Jessica, Shy, Judy Lynn, so many of them. You know, it's just sad to see. Like, I'm gonna tell you right now, and I'm still gonna sound biased here. Okay, whether these guys like it or not, it's only going to take me getting a new job to further better my mental health, because as long as I'm still there, I'm still going to feel mentally corrupted, and it's already been evidenced these past couple of weeks why I could just feel like I can never be there. And it's just sad that I'm still there and having to think about what I went through the first year and the second year and the first few years of being that dump that was once upon a time, a real workplace. But now it's to a point where I'm still there, and mind you, I'm being asked about wanting to participate in some funky Halloween project or whatever it is for October. I'm like, yeah, I'm not really interested, to be honest. I mean, it's nice for me to for them to try to involve me in the project like that, because I'm a big fan of Halloween, mind you. But nah, dude, nah. Like, when you have the same leadership of that same company president, there's no doubt that it's just more of the same, and you expect that bird season to be just as bad as last year, if not worse. I don't want to have to go through it again, dude. That's why, like, everyone telling me, Neil, Abbas, mostly just Neil and Russ, Carlos, telling me to get the hell out of there. Carlos has been on my side about what's been happening in that dump and how I'm being paid this and that. I mean, it's just dumb for me to be paid this low. And unfortunately, guys like Dewey and my other friend who may no longer be around have pretty much confirmed what a failure of a friend I've been. So, Dewey said everything that I needed to know. Yes, he is spot on. It's like every nail that he struck on that wood, it's very much, spot on. So, it just sucks for me to hear this kind of, criticism, especially from some friends I still have. And, it's just, I told you, the problems that I'm having these days are while I'm still in that dump, and even as I'm, during those dump hours, like, shoot, it's just more of the same of the problems I'm getting, and the criticisms that I'm getting in regards to me being a failure of a friend. I told you, they're all outside of work. So I don't know what more needs to be said from what Dewey said here, because it's just it's just all spot on. I mean, nobody else said a thing. He said it right here. Some people are getting tired of it. Like, every time I took my frustration out of them, and he's just spot on. I couldn't help but to think of the friends that I lost, like Angel, Rhea, Shy, Judy Lynn, and now I'm about to lose 2 more. I hope that's not the case. And look, I forgot to mention Mari is another one that we had this big argument. Hell, we've had so many arguments in the past, and for the most part, we were able to still still vibe with one another, so well. And now we have not talked. This is already what now? Like, it's been over a week. It's already Sunday. I mean, what's going on? I want to message her, but if I do, if she ignores me, it's like, damn, look, I got 2 friends that already ignored me, even if I apologize to them. So, it's obvious that, they haven't, they're no longer forgive me, because I keep repeating what I said. And in the end, what Dewey said, it's like, look, here's the last sentence right here. It said, don't blame them. Forgive. They was once your friends. Forgive. Yeah, you know what? I will forgive them. Fine. But in the end, I need to fix what I need to fix. And I'm telling you right now, I need a new freaking job. Period. That I mean, I don't know what more needs to be said, because I've been stating the same thing over and over again for the past few years, in these past several videos that I made, even when I went off in this dump. I never strayed from it. I've been consistent, especially in social media. Now a lot of these guys know. I think everyone is forced to know that it's only going to take a new job, not so much of this mental health that I'm going through, for me to further better myself. And in that way, when I do, that's when everything will go smooth for me, period. And then I can work things out with some of these other guys. I hope I will have a future with some of these friends, okay? I hope I will have a future with some of these friends. And that's all I ask. So I'm just trying to stay positive. I know my next big break is coming up very, very, very soon. But I just wanted to address what Dewey said. And yes, he is right. So I talked about it, there's nothing I said in here to where it seems like I'm attacking his personality. No, I would never do that to anyone. I would never do that. All I'm doing is just stating what they said to me, like that is noteworthy, that they're correct, this and that. How am I like diminishing my friendship values with them? I'm not attacking anyone personally. I'm not attacking any of my friends personally on what I said. I'm just stating that they're spot on with what they said. Now look, it can get annoying that I keep repeating that they're spot on. Okay, I'll give you that. But it's nowhere to a point where I'm like, I'm trying to hurt them, hurt their image. No, that's not the case, man. And here with Dewey's, look, I'm talking about Dewey's too. And everything he said in here is just spot on. I even read those two texts. It's nothing like personal. It's nothing against my personality. I'm just saying that he said everything that was right about me as a friend. Look, when I talk about certain friendships, I'm talking about the friendships themselves, the chemistry, how it's my fault, not their fault, my fault, that of how the friendship struggles. You know what I'm saying? How the friendship itself struggles. The friendships themselves struggle. I mean, come on, man. Is this where we're at? Like I'm not by any means trying to harm any friends, like personally. No, I would never do that. If that's the case, I would have said, like, I would have taken shots, like, taking direct shots at them, as far as like some of the things that I say that's going to seem like appear to hurt their image, hurt their personality. Look, I'm not about that stuff. Okay, so what I said here is that Dewey said everything that I needed to know. That's it. I'm not trying to hurt his personality. I'm not trying to hurt his image. I'm not trying to make it seem like I'm threatening or harassing him like that. That's my guy. Look, I know I've been on the record saying he needs a new job, but I even joked to say that he was a bum for not getting a job. But that doesn't mean he's a bum in general, okay? I've always joked about that. And at the end of the day, that's still my friend. Yes, he's seen me at my worst so many times, but in the end, he's still stuck around. He wanted to see me next Friday, okay? So anyways, I'm gonna leave it at that, dude. So I just thought I'd address what I said, and then in the end, I'll just leave it at that. So tell me what you guys think. Peace.